Thank you everyone for joining. My name is Ritika Sahani and I am the founder trustee of the NGO Trinayani. I've worked in the sector for more than 40 years and Trinayani is into quite a number of things. And you're most welcome to visit our website to look at the initiatives. Some of them are flagship initiatives, the only one of its kind in the country. And the website currently has 180 films. The website is all about spreading awareness about people, letting people be aware of disability lifestyles and how people with disabilities live lives fully with their disabilities, how they go about living around their disabilities, along with it. The Building Back series, this is 2.0 because we did a fantastic first one in a year back, 2 years back. And this time we have changed what we want to do. The first one was on celebrating autism awareness. The second one, we had Ashutosh Singhal, who's also here with us today, who talked about Sugamya Bharat app. And today we have with us Pranav Lal from Delhi. Pranav likes to address himself as an author, a blogger, and a website owner. And both the website that he owns, the URL is in the chat box. One is to do with his writing, and the other is to do with the tech that he is involved with, even professionally. He has a number of books. And I am not, are these books available on Amazon and things like that, Pranav?
Very much.
All right. So these books are
And they're all
available.
stories.
Lovely. And if you are part of the WhatsApp group, his details will all be sent there, and you're most welcome to have a look at it. Currently, today, we have asked Pranav to, and you must read his articles also. Many of his articles have come out in Times of India, it's there on YouTube. He blogs regularly. He's very vocal about things. And a very interesting way that I met him, and I met him not knowing anything else about him except for the fact that he's a blind photographer. I was introduced to him by Partho Bhomik, who runs what is called Blind with Photography from Bombay. And he was constantly talking about his ace student, and that happened to be Pranav. So Pranav is also, Pranav's film is on the website, and I would request Debashi to give the URL of the website on the chat box. And Pranav is featuring on the website, but as a blind photographer. He will talk about a little about that today itself, because we are talking about technology and AI, and I think it is technology that has enabled him to become a photographer, even though he has a visual impairment. So I think all that will be covered today. Thank you so much, Pranav, for agreeing to be with us. I'm going to start off by requesting you to introduce yourself in a way that will make our audiences right now listening to us in this meeting, and when viewers watch the YouTube program, of who you are, the disability that you have, and how have you allowed technology and now AI to enable you to be who you are.
Right. So I am Pranav Lal, as Ritika has already said. I wear several hats, but I'm a technology enthusiast. I work in the area of cybersecurity, and uh, I am probably most known for being a blind photographer, because what I do is I use a visual prosthesis. Technology is at the core of what I do. Uh, I like playing with technology, I build with it, but for me, it's like a third limb. If I'm unplugged I think I would have challenges in doing what I do. Now, but I'm going to talk about the evolution of technology and not I'm not going to give you a history lesson with respect to how technology evolved in a generic way. I am going to give you a history lesson of how it mapped to me. So don't worry, you're not going back to history class. Now, the first bit of technology I think I was ever exposed to was Braille. So how many of you are familiar? How many of you have heard about Braille? Never mind being familiar with it. Probably uh, raise your hands or probably just type yes into the chat box, right? Now, I started, and this is in the early 80s, right? I started working with Braille slates, stylus, all that. I used to read Braille textbooks. My mother, in particular, she used to get my books transcribed into Braille, and I would read them, and all my note making was in Braille. Then, in about fourth class, or maybe fifth, we said, okay, uh, Braille is slow, and I'm not one of the fastest readers or writers of Braille. I am slow. Okay. Like some people feel the patterns with their fingers and they can just, you know, touch a whole line of text and do it. I can't. I need to see the individual letters. Well, what happened then was we said, okay, let's use audio. So I started using portable cassette recorders to record notes. However, those of you who have ever tried this, or if you think about it a little bit, uh, audio cassettes are horrendously sequential, and there is no easy way for you to jump. So, we do a lot of rewind, a lot of fast forward. By the way, random question. How many of you have had tape get stuck in a cassette recorder? Anybody?
All the time. I
Yes.
I, I currently possess at least 300 tapes.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm not being able to part with them, Pranav.
Uh,
Because I was raised using cassettes, correct? So
yeah, but so the way I parted with my cassettes, and this is jumping a little bit, but I will tell you, is I got most of the content in digital. However, we'll come back to this. So it was audio, and I used to make notes in Braille. Along the way, my parents bought me scads of audiobooks, a lot of novels on cassettes. At that time, what used to also happen was a lot of books were abridged, but whatever it was, I read a lot of novels. I had quite a stack. Um how I kept them organized, I don't know. They were just stacked. And I used to pop them in and out of cassette recorders. Some of the cases of the books were distinctive, but not too many. Anyway, when I was in eighth class, I finally got a computer. Well, I got a typewriter first, right? Now, the thing with a typewriter, and I'm talking about a manual typewriter, and the advantage was I could finally write in a format in which my classmates could understand me. So I did a lot of practice, a lot of typing. I memorized the keys And this was just a manual thing. Anyone remember old government offices where you would have manual typewriters? That's what I had.
Mm.
I did manage to break it, by the way. All right. I've broken a typewriter about 3 to 4 times. And the area that I broke, incidentally, was the way the carriage used to move. So those belts is something I managed to break. Don't ask me how I did it. But anyway, after that, I got a computer, which I also broke, but broke differently. Because now we had software, and those were the MS-DOS days. So I used to use a screen reader called HAL, HAL. Now, what's a screen reader? First thing first. In the broadest possible terms, a screen reader is a piece of software that allows, well, primarily blind people, but anybody to communicate with computers, phones, uh, by using primarily audio. Now, it uses audio for output. You can use audio for input. People think they're complementary, but they're not. In fact, all screen readers are keyboard driven, unless you're talking about mobile phone screen readers, which are touch screen driven. And what a screen reader is today is it's an event processor. Now, what I mean by an event processor is that if something happens in your computer, the screen reader will tell you that, hey, this has happened. In addition, when you press a key or click a mouse, the screen reader is intelligent enough to determine whether to tell you or not. And this is before AI has come along. All right, we're not talking about artificial intelligence. I'm talking about intelligence at the very basic level. Okay, those conditions are programmed. Those rules for reading what happens and what it tells you are pre-programmed. So anyway, I got the screen reader and I finally now could exchange notes with my friends because I would write those notes. I would then print them out and carry files to class. So how many of you have taken registers to school? Those big, big books. Anybody? Bags full of register and someone's forgotten the accounts register in
Yeah,
the accounts class.
yes. I suppose it's just about all of us must have done
Yeah. I had files.
that.
So I used to
Mm.
hand over files for correction. Teachers didn't mind that too much. They were good about it. So I never had this thing. Make a separate notebook for your homework. Well, okay, I'll make a separate file for my homework. Here you go. And that's what used to happen. So that mode of operating where I would, write notes, record notes, come home, write them down. It was tedious. Okay. It was incredibly tedious. I would really have to spend a lot of time, which is why the only extracurriculars I was able to do was a lot of debates, declamations, and all of that. Uh, so I continued college in the same way. The only difference was that after I think first year, I realized that you don't have to make notes, really. Uh, the book has got what you need. Okay. Some classes you have to make notes. You don't have to make notes in all classes. And funnily enough, one of the hardest classes to make notes is English class. The reason being, in English, you have to type out half the textbook. Okay. So you type out half the textbook. and then write the teacher's explanation. Damn hard to do. So anyway, then I spent time preparing for the GAAD, which is the B school entrance exam after college. Now, of course, it was all computers. And that's when I got my first laptop. This was an Acer. Anyone used Acer machines? They used to be popular at one time. Now it's all Dell and Lenovo's, though Acer is still around. It's ACER.
I have
No?
one. I
You
have
have
one.
one.
Yeah, yeah, I have
Wonderful.
one.
Yeah, so I started with the TravelMate 730, my first laptop. And this had another qualitative advantage, which was that in B school, I was equal to everybody else because what I could do was write notes in class, do cases in class like everybody else, and read textbooks in class. So that additional thing of going home, doing processes, that went away. Along with this, I discovered the voice. Now, this is a piece of software made by a Dutch physicist, Dr. Peter B.L. Meyer. And what it allows you to do is to perceive shapes by sound. So for each shape, you have a distinctive sound. Now, if it was just that, it would be like, well, okay, you memorize a bunch of sounds. But the really clever part of the software is that you don't need to memorize the sounds because there is a definite set of rules. And as long as you know, there are just three rules for vision. And if you know those rules, you can interpret the shape of any object. So the rules are panning represents the position of an object in the horizontal plane, pitch maps to the height of an object in the scene, and volume maps to brightness. Now, this is as far as, if you see the film Trinayani has done, this is as far as they got with photography. Uh, about 2 months back, we made a major breakthrough in the software. Now, how many of you see with one eye only or have seen with one eye? Anybody?
When you're clicking a photograph?
No, generally, have you had to work with just one eye ever?
No, not
Okay,
I. Yeah,
not you.
but
In case the rest of you do,
yeah.
what you'd realize is your depth perception is a little bit tricky because you have to use a lot of environmental features to understand depth, whether it's occlusion, shading, parallax, what have you. Now, in the voice, what we then did was using AI, yeah, we will come to AI, we were able to actually deploy a model which allowed us to convert uh, single images to the 3D equivalents. So finally, we could have depth perception. And that's what we got. This is a 2-month-old story. Okay. So, how I take photographs? I take photographs by looking at a scene with a voice. If it looks interesting, or if you're being semantically correct, if it uh, sounds interesting, I take the shot. Now, there is a third part about the voice, but all that's been covered.
So I'm just going to stop you for a moment so that people understand. And I'm going to repeat what you said. So Pranav, when he says voice, he's referring to that app, to the app that he uses, which mentions pitch, how he the three verticals that he talked about. So he would use voice to figure out for himself whether he wants to take a photograph or not. Correct, Pranav?
Correct.
Lovely. So I just wanted to repeat this because, when you say voice and people have never really, they have no idea about it. So I don't want them to get confused. At this point of time, the word that he's using is an app that allows blind people to be able to figure out with the sound. Therefore, he said semantically, as far as the blind photographer is concerned, they have to figure out whether what they hear is what they like to be good enough to be clicked. Thanks, Pranav. Yes, continue.
Yeah, right. And the really clever part is that these signals that come from the voice actually map to electrical stimuli in the brain, and this is the same stimuli that you get through your eyes when you see something. So the visual cortex of the brain is supposed to get re-recruited for vision because the brain doesn't really care where the signals come from. Now you get details about all of this in the movie, so I'll refer you back to that. So that's the photographs bit. Uh, you can see the photographs. I think that they're in the video. They're also uh, there in. They're on my blog. Again, you'll get the links to that, and so on. Now, so what's the technology that I use today? I've given you a full history lesson. What am I using? I'm using screen readers. But I'm making very heavy use of AI, which is Gemini, ChatGPT, and all of these models. Okay, why is that? Well, like you, I use pretty much the same products. Those products use AI, so naturally I'll end up using AI. But from a blindness perspective, where does AI come in? It comes in several places. One thing is you have a universal describer. So if you have, if you're in a room, you don't know where you are, or if you know where you are, but you've lost track, or you generally want to get the feel of a place, uh, you can use AI to get these descriptions. More interestingly, if you're on the computer and you need to do some online shopping, or you're doing something else, or someone sent you a picture, you can actually analyze this using AI and get a pretty accurate idea of what it is. Okay. How many of you have heard of Be My Eyes? No? Okay.
No, I agree. So there is again on the website, Pranav, we have, and Ashutosh has raised his hands. Ashutosh heard about it. And I
Hmm.
talk a lot about it in my workshops for the mainstream schools as a part of a volunteering effort that they can do. And in the film, George has mentioned, George Abraham, when I interviewed
Hmm.
him, he talked
Hmm.
about AI, Be My Eyes. And I must tell you, and this is the first time I think I'm sharing this, I was invited by Dubai Expo to do a talk in 22 on how we go about doing things at Trinayani. And at that point of time, the founder of Be My Eyes was also there to give a talk on Be My Eyes. So I met him in Dubai. It's very
Nice.
interesting. Very interesting. Yeah.
So
Please
Be My,
continue.
yeah, so Be My Eyes is the simplest thing we have. Simplest way a blind person can use AI. So you've talked about the volunteering end. I'm going to try and show you the other end of the equation, who is the service recipient. Okay, let's. Let's. Ritika, do you want me to try sharing my screen and so on?
Yes, I'm going to make you the host, the co-host.
Co-host is fine. Don't make me the host.
Yeah, yeah.
Something to do.
Yeah, I made you
Okay.
the co-host.
Okay. Uh, Okay. Okay.
Screen sharing meeting controls window.
Now you will hear my computer as well.
Mute currently audio show thumbnail video. Select stop video alt video settings participant more options chat alt more option new share option drop down button. Pause share alt D button.
Okay. Can all of you see my screen?
Layout press slope annotate button. Slide
Yes.
meeting show more drop down button.
Okay.
Desktop list. So task view paper my taskbar overflow menu toggle show hidden desktop start top search toggle task view top paper downloads WhatsApp one Pranav SS45 for keypass mate Zoom workplace taskbar overflow menu paper Microsoft Word NID taskbar Zoom workplace what taskbar over paper downloads WhatsApp one Pranav SS45 for keypass mate Zoom word taskbar overflow menu start window search window be my eyes describe with be my eye.
Okay. So we are on describe with Be My AI.
Screenshot control alt image control alt button. Clipboard control alt webcam control alt W button.
So
Quick actions select webcam clipboard image control alt button.
the
Face
image.
Select a file dialog. Earlier this month through Tree New Pranav personal WhatsApp docu picture news end of iCloud list level Linux the data items conduct current statement data 4 of 5 item docs 2 items item images 20 items new and Gishet wedding ambic art 50 cents display Diwali images 8 domestic downloads 10 of Go 11 Go 2 Go Doomed Horse Cup heritage house images 16 of 66 heritage items new list arcade carriage JPG not auto rickshaw JPG column 2 of 76.
All right. So this is one of the pictures I took a long time back when I was visiting the Heritage Transport Museum in Haryana. Okay, this was with an outfit called Planet Abled. So I had taken a picture, and this is the first time I'm doing this. So let's see what's the description we get.
Please wait. Red and orange upholstered seats with fuzzy trim. The image shows what appears to be two adjacent seats, possibly from a transport vehicle, covered in vivid red and orange fabric with shaggy fur-like trim along some edges. To the right, there is a bright magenta fuzzy spiral-shaped element that might be part of a decorative handle or structure above the seats. A high metal ceiling with curved beams and corrugated panels is visible, giving the impression of an indoor industrial or exhibition space.
Well, this is actually supposed to be an auto rickshaw. So we will
edit multi-line blank. Attach send button. Quick actions. Selected checkbox. History checkbox. Keep button. Delete button. Space. Delete dialog. This chat will cancel button. This chat will be permanently deleted. Delete button. Space. Pane. Clipboard. Control Alt C. Image. Control Alt button. Space.
I'll do
Select
one
file dialog.
more.
Items. New list. Arcade carriage. JPG not selected. Items. New list. Heritage. House images. House terrace. Iceland. Images. Fan 19 of 6. Images. Wrist. iPhone 11. iPhone. Media. Diaper. Letters. Past 20. Letters. Molding 20. MWS 30 of 6. Molding 29 of MWS 30. Mom birthday 2000. Mom phone. Missouri 2000. Niku 0.135. Nokia. Niku. Missouri 2018 30. Missouri November 2020 33 of 6. Items. New list. Mountains. Not selected. Row. IMG 20 million. Mountains. Column. Items. New list. IMG 20 million. IMG 20. IMG 20 million 201,031 140,600.
Let's try a random picture that I took.
Please wait. Mountain landscape with a tall dark pole in the center. The pole runs vertically through most of the image and blocks a large part of the view. Behind it, distant mountains covered in trees stretch across the sea under a clear blue sky. The sun is high near the top left, partly hidden by the pole, creating strong glare and rays. At the bottom, rooftops and small buildings are visible on a hillside with some green and red roofs and scattered trees around them.
Okay. Now, this is the most common way that blind people use AI. Yeah, we describe images. And you can get mobile with all of this on mobile phones. How many of you receive photos over WhatsApp?
I think all of us do.
New
But
point of
I have a
yes,
question for you, Pranav.
Yes.
While this was being described, it was being read at a speed where I didn't understand a word of what was being said. How is it that you understood what was being said?
Ah, this is where experience comes in. So I can slow it down. That is not a problem. But basically, this is the speed at which I operate. As a blind person, I spend almost 17 to 18 hours on these machines. So this is the kind of speed which we reach in listening. The reason I asked about WhatsApp is because now with AI and the ability to describe images, you can actually participate in all the nonsense because you can just tell the screen reader, okay, tell me what this image is, and it'll tell you what the image is. Okay.
Correct. Very
Uh,
interesting.
that's one way. You have video glasses like the Meta glasses, which, you know, and this is for everybody. It's a universal technology. So you as a blind person can just ask, what's in front of me, and it'll tell you that. Uh, the remaining uses of AI are pretty similar to the rest of you.
You want to stop sharing?
That's a good
screen
point.
sharing meeting mode drop dock to bottom stop share alt test button.
Stop share. Okay, have I stopped sharing? That's the biggest
Yes,
question.
yes.
Okay, great. So, and one of the biggest challenges today with AI is also face recognition because there are obviously privacy concerns. So some classes do it, some people do it, some don't, and you can make arguments for both sides. We're not going to do that here, but you do have the theoretical capability now of pointing your device at somebody's face and knowing their name, like people do with their organic eyes. What else do we do with AI, right? A lot of AI is used to interface with the sighted world. So, for example, I need to format a document. I can just tell AI to do it. I need to generate an image. I can tell AI to do it. And I'm not talking about Be My Eyes, okay? This is just regular AI. And some cases, now my wife, for example, she's partially sighted, and she was looking at some medicine packet some time back. All she did was take a picture of the packet, load it into ChatGPT, and just hit send. She didn't even give it a prompt. And it knew that, okay, it has to describe this image. And it did that. And we came to know what the medicine was. Uh, my only submission to any of you, if you try it, double check it, because even today AI can hallucinate. But so far with OCR tasks, we have not had that particular problem.
What is
You can,
OCR tasks?
my apologies, optical character recognition. So if you have some text and you need a computer to read that text, what the computer will do is it'll take an image of it, whether it'll do it through a scanner or a camera, and that image will be then processed and eventually it'll extract the text. Now, that whole pipeline, the way it gets processed, what happens is called optical character recognition.
Thank you. Thank you.
Be My Eyes does it. Seeing AI I think it's there for the iPhone and Android. Do it. There are a lot of Androids. Sorry, a lot of apps that do it. A lot of your screen readers today also have similar functionality, whether it's NVDA or JAWS. With NVDA, you have to bring your own key in many cases. There are some add-ons which are very popular, like Vision Assistant Pro and so on. One cool use of AI, which more people should do, is help them with forms. So let's say you are filling out a form. Anyone done one of those government websites where you filled. You think everything is there, tell you submit, and give you something like, please solve error and resubmit. What? Where's the error? So you click on OK and you're back to what you're filling. There is no error. And then you realize there's one little tiny bit in red on the calendar and you have to choose a date in the calendar and not enter it into the box. But AI will let you see the page. You just let's see this page and tell me what are the errors or what's missing because it's not going through, and it'll do that.
That's fantastic. And Ashutosh, I think it'll help you a lot since you do so much work with the government website. This is fantastic that you at times lose out on something, or you're trying to submit, it's not getting submitted, and you don't know where the error is. This is fantastic. This is good for everybody, correct? Pranav, anybody can do it.
Anybody can
I
Yeah.
do.
already know about it.
Oh, okay, Ashutosh. Lovely.
Yeah. I mean, whatever I am saying today, most of the disabled community will know this backwards.
Absolutely. And I think that's what amazes me, Pranav, because I've spent the last 4 years conducting workshops intensively for mainstream schools. And it simply amazes me that there are times they're not even aware of Braille, forget technology and AI and all that is available for the blind community. So that's why when we started, I told you that the entire focus, as far as we are concerned at Trinayani, is to use everything that you're saying and perhaps try and create a small segments and snippets of information that you've given, which will help change not only people's perception, but also allow them to realize the capabilities and the capacities and the skills that blind people have, simply because they are able to use technology and AI, and perhaps use it so well as someone like me can use it, and I can make my life very easy, and I don't. But with you, it's also a necessity, and it's something that you do with such Ilan. I mean, with all my friends with the blindness, I'm in awe with what they are able to do with your technology. For example, whenever I want something in all text, I simply send it to Ashutosh because I know he's going to quickly do it and send it back to me, and I'm so grateful for all that. If you have, it's 11:42, Pranav. If you still have something, then we will continue with you. Otherwise, we can ask Debashi to give you one or two questions. What do you feel?
Um, I was just thinking the one thing for schools.
Yes.
I'll just mention that and then we can go ahead.
Please. No, but if you would still have some things to say, it's
No,
fine, because any which way the questions will also be just for you to get information from you. So
yeah, that's
yeah.
fine. No,
Mm.
what I want to say to schools is you let the blind student use AI to read the blackboard. So earlier you had a scenario where the teacher would scribble on a blackboard, you got no idea what's happening. I think it's still good if the teacher speaks
No, the
while,
blackboard is very much a part of the classroom.
yeah, I mean, it's good if they speak what they're writing, but what
Correct.
the blind student can theoretically do
Hmm.
you just take a picture and have the blackboard read.
Yes.
And I would like to try this. I've never done it till date, but I would like to try it with a physics class where they make a diagram of the internal combustion engine,
Hmm.
or or chemistry where they show you the equation for a polymer, for example. So a lot of that in theory should become much simpler.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So because AI today can read handwriting and messy stuff as well.
Yes. That's a good thing to say because we know what happens when teachers write on the blackboard. Good idea. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
That's
So I
fantastic.
think we can jump straight to questions
All right.
because I can go on and on.
Yes. No. So if Debashri has a few questions, Debashri, you should spotlight yourself too, and let's have
Yeah, sure.
questions that we still don't have answers to. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So I have few questions from a very kind of layman's perspective. So firstly, I'm still in awe of the way Pranav was explaining the process of capturing photographs. So firstly I wanted to understand that is that process is called visual prosthesis. Is that is what you explained, Pranav?
So a visual process is just a fancy way of saying artificial eye.
Okay. Okay.
So
So what you explained in terms of like three signals. Uh,
yeah, so
yeah.
all of that, see the voice program, okay, it, it acts like an eye. It tries to be the eye because what it does, it takes these signals, whatever's the camera image, and or even a static image, you can import a file into it, and it will then uh, convert those to the convert the image to the defined set of sounds. So it's up to you to interpret those sounds. And
Okay.
that sort of thing is tremendously valuable because, and I'll tell you a limitation of AI. AI will just tell you steps in front. Okay. It will still not tell you what kind of step. It won't tell you that, okay,
Right.
it's a half step or a narrow step. Normally it doesn't, unless you ask it a whole bunch of questions. With the
Yeah.
voice, you can make out directly. It's your brain doing the interpreting. So if I have gravel on the step, I can see it and make out that, okay, I have to be a little careful here because it's gravel, or is it a
Yeah.
soft texture? Because sometimes, you get those, uh,
Yeah.
so you have soil or mud on a step or a mud step itself and a, step plus ramp mix. You can make that out with the voice. AI will struggle a bit over there.
Got it. Got it. Yeah, absolutely. So before I move on to the next question, I just wanted to check if anybody from the audience has any question. Please feel free to unmute yourself and ask. Okay, so I can move on with my question.
No questions.
No
Everyone
questions,
having.
but I must tell you the two comments that have come. Nupur is saying, thank you for the session. Wow, very interesting. Thank you for sharing in detail. Glad to know about different developments in technology. And Siba Patnaik says, great to listen to Pranav. His technology used for photography is an eye-opener, very interesting and very absorbing. Yeah.
Awesome.
Hmm.
Okay, so next, what I want to understand is that Pranav, see, I personally use multiple AI tools. So sometimes, and it depends. So sometimes I use ChatGPT, sometimes it is Gemini, sometimes it is Claude. So from the perspective of accessibility, I want to understand from you that is there any particular AI tool out of these three I mentioned, or any other one which is ahead in terms of accessibility?
Not really. I use pretty much the same tool set. What
Okay.
I do, the way I do it, and this is for general, okay. ChatGPT, because it's more chatty, I use it for solution when I have to think of something.
Okay.
Gemini, better integration with Google, so it's good with descriptions and things like that. Not that ChatGPT is bad with any of this, okay?
Okay.
Claude, I have used, not too much of it, but yeah, I have used Claude for similar purposes, and it does a good job.
Okay. So pretty much similar. Like there
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
Okay. 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 Uh, also, Pranav, often I, kind of use AI tools to generate the alt text or image descriptions while, posting an image. Okay. So can we completely rely on, the alt text generated by AI tools, or should we also kind of review? And in case we have to review, then what should be the, parameters?
So there are guidelines around alt text, what it should be. It shouldn't be too long, how descriptive it has to be. So that is contextual. Uh, you prompt AI well, and ideally you should review its output
Okay. Okay.
because AI will not understand context. I'll give you an example. Uh, I had seen the. Has anyone seen block printing in Rajasthan?
Yes.
It thought that was a wedding cake.
Okay.
So yeah, do review.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So what else do you have? Have you said everything that you had to say, Pranav? I'm just kind of being greedy. Um, Thank you so much, Mr. Patnaik. Thank you so much I know Meenakshi very well, and we're very happy that you were part of this session. And
Yeah,
have a great webinar with
it is a
IIT.
good learning for me, being an engineer myself from IIT, and very absorbing, as I said. And thanks, Pranav, very much. I had to just, at 12 o'clock, I had to sign in for a webinar with IIT where I had to give a lecture.
Oh,
So I had to sign off. So therefore, my
by all means,
apologies.
sir,
But
and
I've learned a lot. I will in touch, and I will definitely mention to Meenakshi, who is the chairperson of MBA Foundation.
Ji.
As you know, I think Ritika would know
Yes,
that MBA Foundation is dedicated to people who are differently abled, uh,
absolutely. Yes, sir.
both daycare and night care. My wife, who could not attend, she heads a small little center,
oh
a
no, God.
satellite unit of MBA Foundation at Sangharsh Nagar, Chandivali,
Okay.
for underprivileged people
All right.
who have unfortunately have given, they have a differently abled child,
Correct.
and she's just come on the screen.
Namaskar.
Her
Namaskar.
name is Shobha, and
Namaskar, Shobha.
she's got about 35 students.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. 25 of them come regularly, and 10 of them come for only for therapy.
Thank you so much for being here, Mr. Patnaik, and continue to remain in our WhatsApp group. I'm going to share a couple of information about Pranav, which might help you to also get in touch with him separately.
Yeah, certainly,
Yeah.
certainly.
All right. Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.
much. Thank you so
Thank
much.
Thank you.
Yes, Ashutosh, please go ahead.
I have many addition to add, so it can be helpful. Like AI can make accessibility auditing very fast, easier, and efficient. We don't need more people for accessibility testing right now.
Okay.
Although I don't like this perspective because like it decrease um, uh, job. Secondly, we are not able to even generate audio description from AI. Like we can use Microsoft Sounds, Microsoft Sing AI, and PKBot. It can generate audio description of a video, but it has few limitations. Like it can only generate a small video. It can only generate audio description of a small video, not a big one. If we want to generate audio description of a big video, so we have to buy their subscription. I am talking about now PKBot. Third one is there is a one app, Soundscape. It is operating in the USA. So there is a 3D um, headset, so that it can describe like where is the soap. So it can describe, it can mention, it can give the cue actually in our ears where is the soap. Means we can walk. Send and fourth one is like we have to take care about the image description, because like it can't recognize the face. So if I click your photo and if I generate from the AI, so it can't tell the name of the person. It is very necessary for to get to know about the person of the name of the person.
Correct.
And there few companies are making assistive devices so we can navigate, and even Gemini little bit help to navigate, means walk, but it needs to improve a lot. And future is better, but if companies will ask and take advice from us, that time only they can make the products accessible, inclusive, and
Devashi, can you highlight, can you please spotlight Ashutosh, because we don't know, is it possible, please? He's been talking for some time now. I'm not being able to do it. Yes, continue, Ashutosh, please.
and accessible. Like I was yesterday in one PhD house function conference. So many industrialist assistive device makers came there, but they don't discuss with the people with disabilities. They think we know everything, we know all the issues, and they make. I was also a judge in one program, so I asked, I evaluate so many devices there.
Got
So
it.
one made a AI for
Right.
sign language. One point also, like we can also generate sign language
Mm,
from AI, like
mm,
text
mm,
to sign language.
mm,
Generation is easier, but
mm.
generating sign language to text is difficult. Like they made a sign AI for generating sign language, but they didn't include Indian sign language. When I asked which sign language did you use, do you use? They say we use ASL, American Sign Language.
So remember, Ashutosh, we are still waiting to have a session with you where we will discuss all this. But since we're getting to 12 o'clock, I'm going to ask, have Devashi ask a few more questions, because remember, you owe us another session. Remember, there's another session that we have to do with you, which is where we'll discuss all this. But currently, let's just get back to Devashi asking Pranav the last two questions. Is that all right with you, Ashutosh?
Sure, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Ashutosh. Yes. Devashan.
Yes, so I have one question, one last question to Pranav, is that so Pranav, we generally know that one should not click any random links, you know, uh, for cybersecurity or safety, right? So uh, how a person with vision impairment, be safe while reading a text or any content online or any forwarded messages, when using the talkback or something, avoiding clicking of any random links.
So there was, it's like your screen reader is actually able to tell you the underlying link. In fact, we are much safer than the rest of you because the screen reader actually tells us what the real link is. And sometimes it's easier to spot fish domains just by listening because there will be a slight spelling mistake, so the pronunciation will change.
Okay.
The only thing is you have to pay attention
Okay.
initially. Yeah, otherwise nothing can save you. And I'll also respond to one point that Ashutosh has made. Uh, Paying for AI is not bad, right? I won't say it's a disadvantage. It is simply that in the event you need to use these things, you do have to pay because remember, uh, running of AI tools today costs a lot of money, especially in terms of power. Though there are moves to make AI models less dependent on GPU, make them, smaller, easier to run on edge devices. Edge AI is still not very accurate. What I mean by edge devices, the kind of devices we use, not big server farms like you have in a data center. So yeah, if you need to use AI, yeah, it will cost. Do I want it to cost? Not really. I would prefer to have it at lesser cost, of course. But the fact remains there is a reason why there's a reason why you are charged for AI usage.
Pranav, thank you so much. Any last any other information that you wish to give to the audience? I mean, our audience in Trinayani are the academic community. It's the corporate sector. We do a lot of work with the public at large. Doing workshops
So
in gardens
I
and things like that.
okay. So the only input I'm going to give you is a lot of mainstream things can be used if they're made accessible. Simplest example, elevators. You just need to switch on their talking features.
Mm.
Or even for geometry, uh, set squares and protractors, if you just label them in Braille, they become accessible.
Correct.
And along with AI, see what AI lets you also do. For example, if I want to 3D print a cuboid or some other shape, I can actually do that now very easily. Okay.
So admission and of children and students with visual impairment is hugely possible in regular mainstream schools if teachers are aware of how AI and technology makes their lives easy. Because
Uh,
that's their fear that we won't be able to do it. I don't have the training
no,
for it. We don't have the tools for it.
yeah, but hang on there. Don't put the burden entirely on the teachers.
No, it's not entirely on the
No,
teachers. So it's absolutely not entirely on teachers, but they need to be aware of it. Of course, the burden, and it's not a burden. The task of saying yes to anybody who comes to school is also happens when the parent wants it. Correct? The parent
no,
equally
no, no.
has.
Hear me out.
Yes,
Uh,
please.
it's parents is one thing.
Yeah.
Teachers are one end. Okay.
Correct. Hmm.
But also the school management need to give resources
Hmm.
to the teachers so that they can use AI across the board. It's
Agreed.
also resourceable. I can't say to a teacher that, hey, you invest, buy a subscription and run it. It won't work,
Correct.
right? So all three sets of stakeholders have to align: the teachers, the management, and the parents. And that's when you will have much more uptake.
It's a fantastic way to end this session. And so beautifully put. I'm forever saying this, but this was very interesting of how inclusion is possible where everybody plays their roles. Yes, I completely agree, Pranav. Thank you so much, Pranav. And please do stay in touch with us. Let us have anything that you feel we need to share with the group where we may talk about these sessions and get them to be empowered with more information and ourselves at Trinayani to be empowered with information that we can use while we are curating and designing and conducting sensitization sessions across various groups in society. Thank you so much, Pranav. Once again, congratulations on Chetna. And we hope you have a great experience of parenting the young girl.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you, Rekha, Nupur, Ashutosh, Debashri, Saisha, Arnav. Thank you so much for being part of this. We will see you in the next session of Building Back Better in June. Pranav, thank you so much, dear.